Right now, big changes in the Roswell Police Department amid an ongoing 11 Alive investigation. The latest, the police chief's abrupt resignation, that following the firing of 3 officers. Here's what we know tonight. The department is trying its best to deal with these issues, as now we are learning that the chief has decided to resign. Here's Brendan Keefe with the very latest.
Chief Grant, when did you first learn about the intentional freezing of a 13-year-old boy?
Silence. Chief Rusty Grant and the city of Roswell refused to hand over documents that would show the chief knew officers kept a 13-year-old boy cold to get him to tell the truth.
Yeah, he ain't gonna say anything if it's warm.
Oh.
So he can sit over there and be cold. Let him get a little chill.
Is it cold in the car, you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's freezing in there. Well, he's got all the windows rolled down and the heat off.
You gotta hang tight right here, since you can't remember Mom's phone number. And if I can make contact with Mom, then we'll get some heat going, all right?
You handed Sergeant Elsie Supervisor of the Year in April. Did you know before that? It's a simple yes or no question.
I wasn't aware of all of the circumstances surrounding the incident.
But you knew of the incident.
I was aware of an incident.
The Supervisor of the Year was demoted. In his appeal, he wrote he had already been verbally counseled. The incident had already been handled by the chief shortly after it occurred. And I feel I'm being more intensely punished because of the chief's oversight. Officer Brad Hill was also on that scene that cold January night. In September, he was the closest unit to this. A prisoner was dying in the back seat of a Roswell police cruiser. Officer Hill did not respond at all, in part because he was afraid of being involved in another internal investigation. Other Roswell and Alpharetta officers saved the overdosing prisoner with Narcan. Officer Hill was only verbally counseled for not responding as the closest unit. The chief then promoted Hill and gave him a raise later that same month. Roswell eventually fired him days after we asked for records of the incident.
They have had so many, not just problems, but very messed up things that they've let slide and swept under the rug instead of facing it and dealing with it. And then it just looks so much worse when somebody catches you.
Sarah Webb knows firsthand.
Officer Brown, Roswell Police Department. You know how fast you were just going, ma'am? Step out of the vehicle. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
She was arrested for speeding after officers used a coin flip app when deciding if she would go to jail.
A head, R tail. Okay.
Officers Courtney Brown and Christy Wilson were also verbally counseled until we broke the story and it went global. Then both officers were fired.
The officers themselves, the ones who have been fired or demoted, have said all of this was handled internally with verbal counseling until the media got involved, until the public was going to find out.
That's not holding anybody accountable.
Do you think the mayor or the city administrator should fire the police chief?
Yes.
Why?
Because he, I feel like, is the one that's been trying to hide everything until you guys have come after him.
Joined now by Brendan Keefe. Brendan, I look at this like a lot of viewers do, and I just sort of shake my head, yet I can't turn away from it, waiting to see what's next.
Yeah, what is next? We're still investigating the Roswell Police Department. We have new incidents we're investigating right now. What we just showed you with that officer who didn't respond to a prisoner dying in the back of a patrol car, that's new. And we find out that that officer got a raise and a promotion after that incident from the police chief.
And it should be noted that all of the information, all of the tips that you have received over the months have come within the Roswell Police Department themselves.
That's right. Our sources, we have several within the Roswell Police Department, but even in their own internal affairs investigations, you can see that multiple officers were very displeased with the command staff not holding the bad apples accountable. They basically felt there was a culture problem, and it's the good officers in the department that want it fixed.
All of Brendan's work with the investigators can be seen online at 11alive.com.